Chair. I appreciate you calling today's hearing to highlight what's a really serious issue. We have a $1.5 trillion student loan problem. In today's hearing, though, I think digs into a false premise as to where the problem is. The problem is in the underlying cost of the education product in the first place that's driving students into debt. Misdirection works really well in comedy. It's not terribly effective at actually solving what is a very serious problem. When I was on the University of Wisconsin Board of Regents, what we did to address the student debt issue is we actually froze the cost of tuition, froze it dollar for dollar. And that allowed the cost of tuition to become more affordable for students in the state of Wisconsin and had a direct impact on the total student loans that students were taking out and actually allowed students to come out with less debt than if they would if we just casually increased the cost of tuition. It's a real solution to a real problem. We see states go around and sue big bad corporations because where you can't legislate and get the cost under control of the underlying product in the first place, you litigate. If you can't legislate, you litigate. And what we need to do is actually have a real honest conversation about what the underlying cost of the product is that's driving students into debt in the first place. And so if you kind of think through just our panelists here today, I'd ask you, at your alma mater, which is, I think, where we started off the very beginning of this hearing, what the underlying cost of tuition is. So, Mr. Fothman, at the University of Michigan, do you know what the in-state tuition is for a student? It's $15,000. If you're out of state, it's $51,000. Ms. Yu, at Holyoke College, do you know what the cost of tuition is? It's $52,000. $52,000. Ms. Harrington, at UNC Chapel Hill, do you know what in-state tuition is? It's actually pretty darn good. It's less than $9,000. That's solid work by the University of North Carolina and the University of North Carolina system that's getting that done. Mr. Minaj, do you know what the cost of in-state tuition is currently at UC Davis?
Go Aggies, yes. So 0304, my freshman year.
No, today. Do you know what the cost
today
is?
It's $14,490.
Boom. Do you know what the out-of-state
Do I
tuition
get points
is?
for that?
No, bonus points, absolutely. Do you know what the out-of-state tuition is?
I don't know what the out-of-state tuition
It's $44,000. I think it's relevant.
I don't think that's worth it though.
If
you're out of state, I think you just.
So we're gonna.
I think you do what I do
so
and you
much
just
time.
stay at home. You
I only
call
got so
it.
much time.
You invest in the mixtape and you just call it on college.
Mr. Delisle, do you know what the cost of tuition is at Lawrence University?
For a poor student, I believe it's $0.
And do you know what the cost would be? What's the sticker price, which is?
I don't. Well, for a really high-income student,
so the sticker price.
I hope it's really high.
So
$30,000.
it's $49,000.
They're high income. Good.
And so there is a disparity between sticker price, and you identify a good point there. There's a significant disparity between sticker price and the cost that students are paying, but the published rates that are the most easy to obtain and what's causing a problem for access for students is the sticker price.
But only high-income people pay those sticker prices.
Absolutely. University of Wisconsin-Madison, if you're below the median income in the state of Wisconsin, tuition and fees is $0. Not $1, $0. It's covered between a combination of the federal government, between the state, and between private donors. That actually addresses the underlying cost of the product in the first place. And so where we're having a lot of misdirection into the processors because there's big bad companies, and I'm not telling you that they're perfect, I'm telling you it's a misdirection to try to find a boogeyman for what's the underlying problem. And the underlying problem is the folks that are running these universities, whether or not they're state legislators, state senators, governors, board of regents, they need to come in and address the underlying problem, which is the rising cost of tuition and fees, let alone as you get into housing and other issues. And so what we did in Wisconsin was actually put forth a real program that addressed the problem, driving down the underlying costs of tuition, brings down the debt level. It's darn effective. And in areas where states continue to see their costs going up, where they can't legislate or they can't put in policies in place that actually help students be able to live out the American dream, we litigate, we sue all these companies, we misdirect, we make a bunch of noise. It's not effective. It's pretty darn frustrating. And I yield back the remainder of my time.
Well, I thank you.